Well, joining me now is political activist, lawyer and leading figure from the Yes campaign, Aamer Anwar. Aamer Anwar, thank you very much for joining us tonight. What did you make of the drama today?
Well, it was very dramatic. We saw a lot of very excited journalists. Social media, despite the various warnings of the contempt of court proceedings being live, were awash with rumours. And so, yes, very dramatic. But I think what I would say is, in terms of assessing the impact, that very much depends on the outcome of the investigation, which is likely to take several months, if not longer. And as a lawyer, I would remind everyone of two things. Firstly, everyone is entitled to a presumption of innocence. And secondly, proceedings are live. So speculation is unwise and potentially in contempt of court.
And do you think, now, looking back, that the police investigation, which was live for 18 months, perhaps was part of the decision-making process that Nicola Sturgeon went through when she decided to stand down?
Well, I don't know what the basis of. Obviously, we heard what Nicola's what she said was the basis for why she stepped down. I don't know whether it did form part of any decision-making process. That's a matter for Nicola to decide. Of course, people will now be questioning as a result of the police actions today whether that played any role in her decision to step down.
So, do you think, just because, I mean, obviously you were heavily involved in the Yes campaign, do you think when people are asked to donate, do you think that they were being asked to donate or thought they were donating to a possible Indie Ref 2, or do you think they were being asked to donate to the general SNP coffers?
Well, Kirsty, again, I'm not going to step into the realms of potentially what is a live investigation. That's a matter for the police to carry out an investigation and come to any conclusions at the end of the day. And I don't have what exactly, in terms of what people are being asked to donate to or not donate to. I haven't seen what the actual catch lines are. I haven't seen the actual documents that people signed up to. That's really a matter that the police should be carrying out an investigation. As I said at the start, there's no room for speculation here.
No, but I was just meaning more broadly. I think that you wonder what attention people pay when they're actually, pro something. So, for example, you were involved in the Yes movement. Not everybody in the Yes movement was part of the SNP. And I think there's two very different things at play here. And as someone that was a leader in the Yes movement, tell me, was there any real recognition of that? And do you think going forward that things will change?
Well, I think the first thing is that for everybody to recognise the independence cause is not owned by the SNP. It doesn't take away from the fact that today, whatever happens with the fortunes of the SNP, whether this does have an impact or not, people remain sick and tired of being dictated to by Westminster. And it wasn't about the SNP. It's not about Nicola. It's not about Alex. It's independence for the people involved in the Yes movement was about the future of our country, about our children's future, about a dream that's bigger than any one individual, about ending of poverty, ending of ignorance, inequality of opportunity. And of course, it grew. The independence movement grew arms and legs. And of course, the SNP was a driving force in that. Alex Salmond was a driving force in that. Nicola Sturgeon was a driving force in that. And if people, if you gave money to the Yes campaign, if you gave money to the SNP, for instance, I suspect the grey area comes into if you gave money to fight the independence cause for the SNP, then a lawyer could argue, well, if you're giving money to the SNP, then its raison d'etre is, of course, independence. However, I don't know the actual mechanics. I don't know the details.
Right, but just finally, broadly, because there's such a lack of trust in politics anyway, do you think politics generally has to become much more transparent?
Well, I think there's demands for that. I mean, if you compare to the scandals in England, just because the Tories were mired in corruption scandals, cash for honours, cash for questions, it didn't automatically, for instance, translate into votes for Labour, because the central problem was that Labour has had its own problems, of course. But today, when people look at this, a lot of people are asking the question about police ticker tape, several police vans, forensic tents. Many, of course, are asking the question that they didn't see any of that from the police at number 10 when law breaking was happening right under their nose. And people are quite right to ask those questions today. People demand transparency, people demand accountability, and they want to see people fighting. When we face the worst cost of living crisis, this is almost like a deflection.
Yeah. So,
people want to see answers. People want to see a future for the children.